let's work something out that's going to be convenient with both of our schedules. Let's make it a win-win. But don't do something, don't tell them you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. Don't say you're going to take a return of product off the shelves if you can't do it. Why? Because there's always another supplier who's going to look hot and sing as well as be a discounter. It's a fact, Jack. The customer's in charge. The customer's king. And whoever's best at putting that customer in charge makes all the money. I didn't say it. Steve Quinn did. The Walmart CEO. We had a conversation last week, and I added this in there because of what he said. Carlson Marketing tells us that U.S. companies lose 50% of their customers every 5 years. That's 10% a year. But if you just have a 5% increase in customer retention, you're going to increase your profits by nearly 100%. It's the old adage. Do you want 20 customers who are giving you the major portion of your business, or do you want 300 or 400 customers that are going to give you a little smaller business, but you're going to be able to retain, because if you lose the big one, you're in big trouble. But you have to engage not just the customer. You have to engage employees. Does anybody have employees working for them? You better engage your employees in customer retention. I had a bad experience at a bank. Not your bank. I had a worse one at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'll tell you that one. I went there the other night because we didn't feel like cooking. My wife didn't know. So we stopped at Kentucky Fried Chicken to pick up a bucket of chicken. So when I pulled up, I says, I want a bucket. And we happen to like wings and legs, so we said we like the grilled wings and legs. The guy says over the speaker, can't give you a whole bucket of those, don't have, you'll probably have to wait about 20 minutes, so just go park in the lot. So I said, well, wait a minute, what do you have that's grilled? So he told us he had a mixture, so we said, okay, we'll take that. How much is that for the 12? I want to get the money out of my pocket or my credit card or whatever. He says, I'll tell you when you drive up to the window. I said, you can't tell me no? He says, no, I'll tell you when you drive up to the window. I drove past the window and left and I went someplace else. And then I called and left a message for your area coach, because your coach should know about this, because it's a franchise. And I got a generic voicemail message, and I still haven't heard back from the coach. Engage your employees. If they don't take care of the customer, somebody else is going to. You have to manage your human sigma, according to the Harvard Business Review and Gallup. Let's talk about fostering true loyalty and engagement. It starts at a basic level. I told you, each year the average company loses 10 to 15% of the base. 84% of those leave because they have poor service. In a typical business, only hears from 4% of its dissatisfied customers. The other 96% leave, and 91% of them for good. You have to engage your employees. You have to train your employees. You have to talk to them about leadership skills. You have to talk to them about team building. There's a guy right over here in the room. If you have any team building, and if you have any leadership issues with your employees, or if you want to learn to lead yourself more effectively, talk to Pat Reardon at the end of the meeting. I want you to raise your hands if you honestly believe that you have a good CRM system in-house, customer relationship management system in-house. You have one at all? Customer contact, customer relationship manager? If you don't, you should have one, even if it's on your own Excel spreadsheet. There's a guy over here, Jim Beltner, that can help you do that with technology. But loyalty begins with engagement, folks. It really and truly does. 3 primary principles here: basic concepts, technologies, and business outcomes. You've got to understand those 3 to make certain you build yourself on a solid foundation. You've got to satisfy them with product quality. You've got to exceed expectations. You've got to build opportunities for repeat business. And that will bring you referrals. But you've got to engage your client base by reaching out to them and creating a dialogue with them. You've got to have Socratic conversations with your customers. And you should have Socratic conversations with the customers that you've lost for whatever reason. You need to understand why. The biggest three-letter word around. The satisfaction is the difference between your expectations and your service delivery. They're quick to switch to competition. You know what? Your competitors are only a mouse click away. It's no longer, you know, when I first started selling 109 years ago, more orders were written on a barroom napkin or on a golf course scorecard than they ever were on a purchase order form. Not today. People shop the internet for everything from shoes to computers to iPads to whatever it may be. You're a mouse click away. You got to get inside their shorts, you got to be tight with them, and you got to build relationships. And let me tell you something. And if you don't take anything else away from this today than what I'm going to tell you right now, they're not a partner of yours, it's not a relationship if you get an order from them. That's a transaction. You don't want transactional business. You want repeat customers because repeat customers are going to bring you referrals, and referrals are going to bring you more referrals, and you're going to do more and more business, you're going to grow. So, we're lecturing on how to do this, right? But how the hell do you do it? You got to listen to your feedback from calls. How many of you take calls from dissatisfied or satisfied customers? How many of you reach out when you haven't heard from a customer within 90 days? You better do it more than 90, or sooner than 90 days. How many of you are sending out comment cards to your customers? 2 of you in this whole room, shame on you. How many of you are sending out emails or surveys to find out the satisfaction level of your clients? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. How many of you are responding quickly to the concerns of high interest to your customer? Because responding quickly is going to equal increased loyalty. Okay. Organize unstructured feedback for tracking and trending over time. You've got to get organized. You've got to trust your customers to tell you what the problem is, but you've got to reach out to them so you can have a dialogue with them. You should be meeting with your customers or your clients, I don't care what business you're in, every quarter. You should be sitting down and having them if you're dealing with businesses. And sit down and find out how you can save them money, how they can make you money, and how you can work together more intelligently as business people. You've got to take the practices of large successful corporations and drill them down to your level. You can't expect it to be a Barclays Bank. You can't expect it to be a Winston & Strawn. You can't expect to be a Fortune Brands or a Kraft in terms of employees, etc. But you can expect to be able to work with clients like they do, but even on a more personalized level than they do. Use some statistical techniques to discover what action items have the most impact on your business. It doesn't have to be sophisticated stuff. Complaint management is used. You can use electronic computers, you can use phones, you can use written notes to build engagement with your customers one at a time. One at a time. Encourage their voices to be heard. If you've got any size business at all, if you're doing $1 million or more in business, then you absolutely should have an impartial advisory board made up of some of your customers, maybe your bank, maybe Kenny Suskin, your attorney, or whoever it may be, and they'll tell you the truth. They won't tell you what you want to hear. Too many businesses have people in their family telling them what they want to hear. Oh, honey, it'll get better. Oh, it's going to be all right. Or your brother will tell you, no, things are going to get better. They're tough all over right now. That's BS. You need outside advice. Somebody, because you're too close to it for client retention. You need somebody to take the roof off of the top of your house and reach down inside and tell you what's really happening. Create some metrics to measure loyalty. And use some technology. I know Jim Butler can help you with that. To centralize your information and create some reports and structure some drill downs. It's not rocket science. You know, enterprise feedback management is more than collecting data, folks. It really adopts a strategic approach and it helps you build dialogues and you can build some